Good evening, dear friends. This is Efrat from Jerusalem. Thank you again so much for coming every week to this gathering, which is so powerful and important. Tonight, I would like to share with you a very personal experience I had last Saturday when Israel was attacked by Iran. It was very surrealistic experience because it takes few hours for the missiles to come from Iran to Israel. So we got the announcement that the missile went out, was shot, and now we have to wait. And it was so surrealistic and really bizarre. And I was holding in my mind and in my heart our common circle with our co-workers above. And in the same time, I had this feeling that I appreciate so much our work and the light we are sending and the love and the will to peace and our peace commanding presence. And in the same time, I had this understanding that sometimes we really need the support on ground. We really need this aid of military support. And in this map here, you can see the rocket and the missiles that was shot to Israel from Iran, Iraq, Yemen, and Syria. And I really pray that the day will come that the spiritual support will be enough, will be so strong that we will not need the military support. This is what I will pray, and thank you for being here. Thank you. To you, Uta.
Yes.
Daniela, if you can please remove this map. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. It is really very meaningful that we are keeping up this rhythmic pulse every week, especially now that situation becomes more and more precarious. But I would like to put some emphasis today on the positive note. We could see that these present wars in the Middle East and also in Ukraine, Russia, they also seem to be causing a kind of waking up, a becoming aware in humanity of the fact that wars are really not acceptable any longer. That wars are hurting everyone, not only those who are directly involved. And we know that the number of peace events and praying circles and so on, there's more and more growing around the world. And I would like to share with you one that is happening right now as we do our event. It's an online peace conference organized within the psychosynthesis community. And the first part of it is happening right now, parallel to our Middle East Vigil. And the second part will happen this Wednesday. And Helen and I are invited to hold there a short version of our Middle East meditation, including the great invocation in Hebrew and in Arabic. So you can find the link to it in the chat box if you're interested. And it is just good to open our consciousness to each other's peace work and other people's peace work everywhere, to get a sense of all this work already being done, even though it's not broadcast in the television. And another hopeful fact that we should not underestimate is that, at least in the esoteric community, there is a growing realization of our power to make a difference. We have a sense, more of a felt sense of what we are actually doing. We have a felt sense, more felt, our cooperative work with our higher co-workers. And even a greater sense also of our work, of our invocation with great beings like the Spirit of Peace and the Lords of Liberation. And we are also more equipped by our own strengths to put into practical use this well-known fact that energy follows thought. To use our thought consciously and what it can do. A co-worker said recently, wars are averted and prevented from precipitation when conflicting energies are held and balanced on the mental plane. It's about mastering the substance of love and light that has the redemptive power. That's what we are now here aiming to do. So let us settle into our inner quiet now. Taking a few breaths, just connecting with the body, with the earth. Feeling our heart. And let our mind expand into a silent focusedness. And we join together as souls, as silent watchers. Feel our group heart for a moment. And our group mind, this mental field that we are holding from week to week more solidly. Standing together in the will to peace. And spreading out now, so to speak, forming a circle of care around the Middle East. Visualize the many people from all over the world who are standing with us, holding together this heart space. Feel the holding power in our heart and in our mind. And becoming aware of the higher forces who stand with us, behind us, forming a second circle around us. And allowing their focused love to stabilize us. And as impartial observers, let us now focus in on the region, starting with the area of Israel, getting a sense of its location and its size. And also of its psychic space, its emotional and mental field. Just watching. And having a look now into the Palestinian territories, first into the West Bank. Get a sense of what is happening there on the physical, emotional, and mental level. And now turning towards the Gaza Strip, just witnessing breathing, remaining in our alignment as silent watchers. Focusing specifically on the south, the border between Gaza and Egypt. And looking into Egypt itself, becoming aware of the complex role that it has in this conflict. And moving on to Jordan, to the east. The role that Jordan plays especially now in this new phase of this conflict. Now moving to Syria, to the northeast. and Lebanon to the north. And let us include now also in our awareness Iran and the other players in the Middle East region. And sensing for a moment also the influence of the USA and of other nations beyond the Middle East. Just taking a moment to hold this complex situation in our perception. Not straining the mind to understand, just to hold the complexity of this huge field of tension, and becoming aware how everyone in it strains to figure out what to do. Okay. Orienting ourselves now back to our higher co-workers, to the support behind our backs, so to speak, aligning with the stream of the will to love coming from them. And feel it entering our heart between the shoulder blades, where love and will unite. Now let us see and sense, coming from our co-workers, a shaft of pure golden white soul light, streaming through us, broad and brilliant, pouring through each of our hearts out onto the area of the Middle East. Visualize our combined soul light flooding the whole area. As a group, standing as souls. Let us invoke the soul consciousness of all participants in this war, tracing a line to soul consciousness for them. Let us visualize all the inhabitants moving through the suffering towards soul awareness, lifting. Let us accompany this process with our love. Let pain bring due reward of light and love. Let us now specifically focus on the thinkers on both sides and in other nations, on those who work behind the scenes for a real solution. See them being aligned with their souls, with their higher guidance, and being held in a protective field. And let us visualize these thinkers evolving the needed new ways towards resolution that are firmly based on our common humanness. While the outer happenings continue as they may, see these new thought forms of solution slowly taking shape, growing, gaining substance from day to day. See the mental field in which they emerge slowly becoming lighter and brighter. Visualize the mental field of the whole area becoming more penetrable to the soul energy. And see this soul energy flowing through the mental field into the emotional field and down into the physical, into the earth. Visualizing the soul light transmuting these ancient patterns of war. Starting to dissolve, loosen the grip of these ancient patterns. See a purifying energy flowing through. Visualize the seeds of a higher order slowly sprouting in the region, being born out of the pain and out of everyday small sparks of light. And see a higher order based on right relations taking shape in the entire Middle East, bit by bit. Let's take a moment to hold space for this possibility. The Middle East lifting into a higher order. And let the soul light go out now as a blessing throughout the world. Let us hold this picture of a higher order in the Middle East as we sound the great invocation in Hebrew and in Arabic.
מנקודת האור אשר בדעת אל, יזרום האור אל דעת האדם, ירד האור על פני האדמה. מנקודת האהבה אשר בלב האל, תזרום האהבה אל לבבות אנוש. ישוב מורה עולם על פני האדמה. מהמרכז שבו נודע רצון האל, תנחה תכלית את רצונות אדם, תכלית אותה מורי האנושות יודעים ומשרתים. מהמרכז אשר נקרא המין האנושי, תוגשם תוכנית האהבה והאור, ויחתם הפתח אל הרע. יהי רצון, ויחדשו אור אהבה ועוצמה, את התוכנית על פני האדמה. אמן.
من نقطة النور في العقل الإلهي ليشع النور في عقول الناس وليهبط النور إلى الأرض. من نقطة الحب في القلب الإلهي ليتسرب الحب في قلوب الناس وليرجع معلم الكون إلى الأرض. من المركز الذي تعرف منها إرادة الله لتقود الغاية إرادة الناس البسيطة، تلك الغاية التي يدركها المعلمون ويخدمون. من المركز الذي ندعوم بالجنس البشري لينتج تسمين الحب والنور ويختم على الباب الذي يقيم به الشر، ليجدد النور والحب والقوة التسمين على الأرض. الله أمين.